Sanmunani, welcome to another episode of the Lively Chats with me, Thembernator Lively, a show where we get to chill and chat with different people from different aspects of life, and they get to share their life stories with us. Today we are joined by no other person, a lively lady all the way from Zimbabwe. Her name is Angie Hofah. She's going to be sharing her story, having to lose a husband at a very young age and having to live with a mother-in-law of note. Remember, Sinayo Imira Chats with Z. She's going to reflect on all this stuff that we're going to be talking about. Help me welcome this lady already. She's a worldwide woman traveling the whole world, and she does wonderful jobs out there. If she's not cruising, she's in America in some hotel. But today we have the privilege and the honor of having her on the Lively Chat set with us. Her name is Angie, and she's here to share her wonderful story with us. All the stories that we do share are quite touching stories. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
It's lockdown.
And you're always lively.
And I'm lively. You know what I mean? Okay. To someone that doesn't know you, where are you born? Where are you from? Who are you?
Okay. Angie was born in Zimbabwe in a small town called Karoe in 1986.
Okay.
Yes.
1996.
86.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Child, yeah. My full name is Wadzanai Angeline Hofah.
Okay.
But then because most people cannot pronounce Wadzanai, they always find a way of messing up my name. So I went for Angie.
Tell us about Hofah. Isn't Hofah like a German surname?
It is. I don't even know how my family got it. Oh, okay. Apparently my great-great-grandfather was friends with a farmer, a white farmer, in Mashingo, it's the village, and that was his surname.
Oh, okay.
So they were friends. So when he had a son, like this is how they used to they used to use names to differentiate between their kids. So each kid would take their own surname and start a family using that one. Yeah,
that's strange.
So they actually so my great grandfather's first name was now Hofah.
Okay.
And then that became our surname.
Mugabe is definitely not proud.
Well, wherever he is, wherever he is, well, but yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You are living a dream of so many young people, especially in a country from like Zimbabwe. You're living in America. How did that come about?
It was a result of a lot of hard work, and I'm somebody I'm very focused, and when I find myself in certain situations, I tell myself that this is not my future. I know that my future is bright.
There's always
so
more.
I will go for the top. Like I'm always pushing. So in 2016, I actually applied for this job, and then I got an interview, and the person that interviewed me didn't like me for some reason, and then she's like, you're not a good fit for the job. Okay. And then like a week later, I had already interviewed for a Qatar Airways job. So I got the Qatar job, and then later she called me and it's like, we want to interview you again. I'm like, no. I'm like, nah. Then Qatar didn't really work out. unfortunately I failed my medicals. I've got a chronic condition. I've got lupus. So I ended up having to stay. Then fast forward to 2019, last year, I had a really good job as well. I used to work for a non-profit organization funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Yeah, and I was working and traveling in 12 countries in Africa, working with presidents, working with agricultural ministers. But it's a grant. A grant always has like tenure or duration. So I saw that, okay, it's going to run out. So I need a plan B.
Yeah, so need to be a plan.
So yeah, so a friend of mine had applied to Park West and then she went. So I then decided, okay, let me apply again. And then I did. It was a very long process, Skype interviews, presentations, all that. I think it took 3 months for the recruitment process. And then I got it. And then I had to now sort out visa things. And because of the Zimbabwe situation, the US embassy was always like packed. So I couldn't even find like an appointment date. So guess what? I took a bus. I came via South Africa, and then I went to Maputo. That's where I did my my interview for my visa, and I got it.
And you were gone.
Then I came back, and then I left. Yeah.
God.
But I literally got my visa on Friday, and I was leaving. I was leaving on Saturday.
I've never been abroad, so I don't really know what goes down, but I'm just thinking the fact that you literally had to cross like so many places, borders, just to get a visa. But take us through your life. You got married at quite a young age, not necessarily a young age.
Yeah, I wasn't really young. I think I was like 26, 7.
Okay.
Yeah, thereabouts. Okay. We lived together like really quickly. We dated for 2 months, and then he started having seizures. So because of that, I was like really frantic and afraid that if he has this seizure and is alone, what's going to happen? So that was initially the whole reason why we moved in together.
Was that the only reason?
No, of course not. Of course not. Like, I mean, it was real. Like, it was good. It was real.
So 2 months into the relationship, and then you move in with this guy.
Yes.
Take me to the marriage. Like,
okay, I moved in, but I don't know. The mom, she was just a very difficult person to read. So every time in our culture, lobola is the marriage.
Okay.
So.
I think everywhere.
Whenever, yeah, it's very important. Like, we cannot just go off and go to court and get married. You know?
Okay.
So whenever he would like have money for lobola and then he wants to marry, the mom would know that he's got money. Then the mom would be like, why don't you open a sports bar?
Typical for mother-in-laws, and I wonder why we're still talking about this. Yeah.
Yeah, so she used to do that. So we lived together for over a year. He was trying to marry me, but you know, situations. Then eventually we did get married, and of course the condition was still there. Like, he still used to have his seizures, and unfortunately in 2014 he passed on.
Was this the time now when you were between South Africa and Zim?
Oh, okay. South Africa, I came to South Africa with my dad when I was starting uni.
Okay.
And then my dad was moving here. Like, he used to work for, he was a contractor. So he used to work for this flooring company. So he was the general manager for Africa. So he came here for work, and then I came for school. And that's when I moved. That was like, wow, 2005.
Oh God.
That's a long time ago. It's like 15 years ago. So I lived here, and then my dad got married here. So my stepmom is South African. She's closer.
Xhosa woman.
Yes.
Snatch.
He couldn't resist, I guess.
Xhosa
Yellow bone.
women, they are in for the money, Baba.
So they got married, and then I didn't live with them for very long. I think I lived with them, and then I got a job quickly. Like I'm always working.
So now, by the time you actually do get married, you moved permanently to Zim.
To Zim. I had to move to Zim. My husband was a British citizen.
Okay.
He was Zimbabwean, but
so you've always had something for international people, WWW.
I'm sorry, like accents. That's my weakness. But like, he didn't want to come to South Africa, so I stayed because we would come just to visit, and like we used to travel a lot, like Kenya, Spain, Switzerland. We used to go all over.
But now you are here with this supposedly soulmate, but with a mother-in-law from hell.
From hell.
How is
a
that?
monster-in-law. It was hard, but the thing is, I lost my mom at a very young age. So for me, I always thought that maybe I could change her.
Or you could find a mom in her.
Yes, exactly. So I respected her till the very end. So my husband was a divorcee.
Okay.
So his first marriage actually ended because of the mom.
Is this husband the only son?
No, his brother lives in Switzerland, but
Okay.
like the brother, he said, I'm not coming back. And he only came back to Zimbabwe for my husband's funeral. Only. And he said, I'm not coming back. After that, he said to her, I'm not coming back.
You guys married for how long?
Okay, so we lived together for like 2 years, and then we were married for less than a year.
Less than a year?
Yeah.
Then your man passes on.
Yes, while we were planning a wedding, we were like doing venues, everything, and then
but how is that, like having to go through that and overcoming that, the grief of losing your newlywed husband, and at a very young age, and now you need to move on with your life? And
it was really hard, but at the same time, during the relationship, I was saying I've got a chronic condition, I have lupus, but trust me, in the time that I was with him, I never
been an issue.
For some reason I was not sick at all. I was now just there for him. I was looking out for him throughout the entire thing. So, and like hospitals, we were in and out of hospital, and the mom sometimes wouldn't even come to hospital.
And what's wrong with the husband at the time?
It was diabetes and high blood pressure, a combination, and it was like a late diagnosis.
Yeah, I think I can relate to that, because my mom died of similar things, because she was diabetic for the longest time, and she actually died from high blood pressure. I remember the night where she would be like, I'm not feeling well, and then you just like, you're deaf, and she'd be like, I can't breathe, like I feel like my high blood pressure. So I think every time when you get a phone call from your mom, I would be scared.
You're scared,
and then I cannot imagine now when you're actually living with the person and you're having to take them, and now you're on your own with this person.
He actually had his last seizure. I remember that day like vividly. Like I was in a soapy. I was a co-producer in that soap opera, and I was one of the main characters. So we were shooting. So that day, he used to drive me into town to go to my shoots. But that day, he's like, baby, I can't, I'm not feeling okay, my tummy, and he had a running tummy. So I'm like, okay, just drive me to somewhere I can get a cab. And then as I was leaving, at that time we were now living on my mother-in-law's property, but at like a different wing. So I remember I saw her, and I'm like, Mom, can you please check on Tendai later? I cooked for him, his food is there, but he's not feeling well.
I need to go to work.
I have to go to work. And then she's like, what's wrong with him? And then I'm like, no, he has a running tummy. And then she's like, fine, And then I go to work. I had a premiere for a movie that I had done before. So I had to go and plan the premiere. I remember that. Then I went for my shoot. So, while I'm at my shoot, like I was not at peace at all.
I can imagine.
I'm calling him like every hour. And then I'm like, oh, did Mom come see him? He's like, no, I haven't seen her since that time that you spoke to her. That's the last time I saw her.
Is the mom now resenting the both of you because of the union that you guys have, to a point where she's even giving up on her own child?
I think so. Like, because I didn't understand. Like, I really didn't get it. Maybe I just think she never wanted him to be married at all. I don't even know why, but like she does not want her kids to be married.
I mean, after everything is done, now the husband is gone. How do you then pick yourself up and reclaim your life as an independent woman again?
Okay, so like when we met, I've always been working. Like I started working very young. So everything that we had, me and my hubby, yes, he was from like a really well-to-do family. His father was a minister. But he had a job, I had a job.
Okay.
So whatever we had, we bought it together.
And we worked for it.
But because the mom just decided to just repossess everything, from the spoon to my bed, my matrimonial bed. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to fight, I'm not going to go to court. She even took, we had just built a couple of properties, cluster houses too. She took them, she went and changed names while I was grieving. So I was like, Angie, either you stick this out, go to court. Obviously I will win in court, but it will take long. And that is going to take up a part of my life that I'm not willing to, like, I won't be able to move on because I will have this thing hovering, you know. So I was like, you know what, Angie, let's go back to work. I had a bridal boutique then. I had a wedding shop. Yeah. You know, I closed it, and then I went to work. I went back to work, working for people, working for money that was like less than what I had become used to. But I was like, you know what, it's worth it. Let me start over. I started over. I came back to South Africa briefly. Then I went to Zambia for my master's. I decided that, okay, while I'm working, let me also advance myself. So I went to Zambia for my master's, and yeah, and then I think.
But at that time, was she being malicious or she was just being herself? Because I'm asking this because I was raised by my aunt, and my aunt couldn't have kids of her own. And when she passed on, my grandmother literally came and took everything that we ever owned and left us, my sister and I, with the house that was empty. I remember that day very well when I walked into that place that I've always known as a home, and I'm just standing in the center of this house. There's no furniture, there's nothing. My grandmother took everything because she felt like this is the only thing that I can get from my child. She didn't leave me anything. So, and
what about you guys?
But I had to forgive and also to understand that she's also feeling the same pain that I'm feeling. I've lost a mom, she has lost a child. And now she feels neglected and
unloved. But she has to be the bigger person.
You know, she's now left with nothing. I'm left with a home, and then she had to take something. Even though when you're at that stage, it's not nice. So do you think maybe she was coming from that angle of, I need something? Or
not really. Like, she had everything. She lives in a mansion, a 16-roomed house by herself. She really didn't need any of that stuff. If she wanted stuff, she could have just taken his clothes. She could have taken small. She didn't need any of that. all she wanted was to just see me on the streets, because I remember vividly, there's this place that me and my husband used to go to. It's called Bolero. It's like a pub, an Irish pub. So the owners were our friends. I remember this one day we decided to do a memorial thing for him at that pub. And the owner told me that the mom had been coming around and saying that I killed him.
Your own husband?
Yeah.
Like he had something to benefit.
That's what she was telling people. So trust me, it was really malicious. And when I came here, when I was in South Africa, I came to visit my parents just to breathe. She put a tombstone in my absence.
Wow. and
the tombstone is even written, wait, it says, remembered by mom, brother and sister.
No wife,
No wife.
Nothing.
No.
God. But when all these things are happening in your life, you've had your nice times in Zim, where you were Miss Harare and you've entered Miss Zimbabwe. And take us through those beautiful times of your life.
Okay, I was really young though. I was 21. So I actually started modeling at a very young age when I was still in high school. Because I was, you know, when people see that you're skinny, automatically they're like, you must model. So that's where I started from. I did a couple of other pageants, and then I did Miss Harare, and then I went through I qualified for Miss Zimbabwe. It was a really beautiful experience because that time it was called Miss Tourism. They had rebranded it to call it Miss Tourism Zimbabwe.
Okay.
To just connect it with the tourism aspect and promote the country. So because of that, we had to go to all the tourist destinations during our camp. It was lovely. It was exciting. We went to there's this place called Great Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Where there are like ruins. It's
I'm saying
like an ancient city.
because I feel so ashamed. I've never been.
We will go. I will take you. They're ancient ruins in Masvingo. It's a beautiful place. And we went to Nyanga, we went to Kariba, we went to Victoria Falls. Just to mention a few places.
I know Victoria Falls.
You need to go.
So this time you've got all these crowns and all of that, and you've seen these places, and now you happen to actually work in the tourism space.
Now,
is that where you fell in love with your current job?
I love traveling. That's the thing. And then I'm a creative. So my current job, I work for an international art gallery.
Okay.
And
what does that entail?
Okay, 90% of our revenue and everything comes from ships. So we are on 96 ships worldwide, and we hold about 300 auctions every week.
God. On
all those ships. So it was exciting for me because it involves public speaking. Being an art auctioneer, you get to do the public speaking, you get to talk to people in general, and then I was never really a salesy person. I don't really sell, but what I know is I can sell something that I like. Like
it comes more natural.
When it's art, and I can describe it. Like when I really like it and I know about it, it's not very difficult for me to sell it to somebody. So that's basically my job. We're on galleries on the ships, and we get to go to different destinations. I think just in December to March, I think I was in how many countries? 10.
Don't you ever get homesick?
Not really. Not really, because I suppose that maybe if I had kids or if I had like family, I would probably miss home, but like
no, it's all about the
I don't have those attachments at all, so wherever I am is home.
Speaking of which though, how does it really impact being I don't want to say struggling, but you're just all over the place. How does it really impact your relationships, your romantic relationships?
Ooh. It's bad. Oh yeah, sure. Yo, it's really hard because, for example, let's say I'm on the ships. When I'm on the ships, even if I start something or I'm with somebody, you know that it's not gonna go far because we might be transferred, or this person is from a totally different country. You know?
What causes that? Is it the fear that you have, or the other person doesn't feel
it's mostly the other people. Because with me, to be honest, fine, long distance is very hard, but I am somebody who tries.
Okay.
I try. If I want something and I'm into it, I try by all means to make it work, right? So in the end, it's the other person. They may have reservations, or they're scared. Maybe it has not worked for them before, which is it's valid, yeah. But when you want something to work, you just do it.
Any plans of ever trying again, since you're a trier, maybe to build that family, to remarry again, or is it an untouched?
Well, I'd love to get married again, but this time it will probably be for probably different reasons, or it will be a different approach.
What are the reasons to get married?
I got married because of love last time, right? And then I lost everything because
so
I was like into love, and I did not secure the bag.
So are we here for the money now?
Now I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get married for money. It's probably going to be strategic. I'm sorry. There is absolutely no reason for me to just...
So you're trying to tell me that any man that could be watching you right now there, you are basically saying to them, if I want mali, angikufuni.
If you don't have potential to make money at some stage, I make money. I work.
Okay.
So if you are not about that life, you don't have ambition, I'm not about that life.
Tell us about lupus, living with lupus. How is that? And what is lupus, maybe to someone who's watching and they don't know?
It's very difficult because it's not a, I can't say a disease. It's an illness that people don't understand. Right, lupus is an autoimmune illness. And then it affects you, it affects different people in different ways. There's some people are actually disabled because of it. With me, how it manifests itself is through my joints, arthritis.
Okay. I had child arthritis as a kid.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
And it's not a good
It's a very scary thing, where your joints just freezes, especially my hands for me.
Yes.
So winter time I was that child that is always in bed and I needed to be kept warm and all of that.
Yes, that's how it is. I remember 2010, I had my first flare, and then suddenly my hand had to be just like this. I had to hold it like this the whole time. The whole time.
How old are you then?
I was 24.
God.
So I had to be the whole time, and my legs were swollen. I couldn't walk for a while. I had to actually go through therapy to start walking again.
What causes it?
Your body fights against itself. That's autoimmune. Your blood cells are overactive.
Okay.
So your body, when, for example, let's say I go to Zambia and then there's malaria, right? Well, by the way, I cannot get malaria ever.
Okay.
I'm immune to it. But when your body feels like, oh, there's malaria, let's protect ourselves against it.
It then starts attacking your cells.
Then they attack the rest of yourself. It's really...
And you get to live with that for the rest of your life. There's no cure for
it. Yes, there's no cure. There's just treatments, and there's steroids, and with the steroids, I lost my hair. Yeah. I lost my hair, so I don't take them. I don't really like them. And then, but I've got right now I'm in a really healthy period. Like it's been a while. I don't want to lie. I've been okay. I'm fine. But it's just that every 6 months you need to be checking, and you need to check your organs as well. Like it affects kidney, liver, lungs.
How is it different from HIV? Because you mentioned all these things.
It's not. It's not. That's the thing. Like, people fear HIV more than anything, but let me tell you, sometimes it's not as bad as...
If anything, not at all.
It's not as bad as like the cancers and all that. It's not. Yeah, so, but like right now I'm fine. Like I'm healthy. I go for my medicals every 6 months. And because of my job on the ship, I have to.
Very fortunate that you actually managed to get into that industry with that underlying...
I almost didn't. Like, I went for medicals and then I had to go to see a specialist. Medical, by the way, in the US is very expensive. I had to go see a specialist. They did like full blood tests and all that, so that my doctor could just say she is fit for duty.
Wow. What does lockdown mean for you, for someone that works in this industry. And with jobs, people are losing jobs like left, right and center, and
it's very difficult. It's very difficult, but my company has been like, I think I'm fortunate because my company has been really trying. They're always, yes, they're supportive. They call us, we ask questions, they're always updating us, and they really tried all they could. Of course, we're not going to work, so we can't expect to be paid. I think I probably last got money like beginning of June. Good. But I'd last worked in March.
Good.
Which was still okay. But that's what's sustaining me. And the thing is with me, I'm not a quitter. I have just told myself I'm not destined to be broke. So I make a way. I make a way, I make things work. We will probably go back to work in September, October. But until then, I will...
I want you now to actually look into that camera and speak to the 21-year-old you, or that girl that is in love with someone and that is looking for acceptance and just that has gone through the stuff that you've gone through. Just have that mirror talk and just talk to that 21-year-old. What message do you have for those people?
Okay.
Or maybe you can also even speak to that horrible mother-in-law. A horrible mother-in-law doesn't have to be your mother-in-law, but any other person that has made you feel...
Okay, what I could do... What I could do is talk to... I know there are actually a lot of women, believe it or not, who have lost their husbands at a young age. And most people, as Africans, our wills and inheritance laws are really bad. So most of the time, once you lose your partner, you are left with nothing. So I think that's a cause that one day I want to actually stand up for, like young widows and all that. Like, you don't have to lose. You need to know your rights, know your laws. Talk about death. This is the thing. We are Africans, but we don't talk about death. Like, I think I'm telling the 20-something, not 21. 20-something-year-old me that was married to Tendai back then, if I can reflect and you know, and say something to her, I would tell her that, baby girl, talk to Tendai. Well, while you guys are sitting, talk about it, baby. You're always in hospital. If something happens, what are we gonna do?
So that when it comes, you're prepared. Exactly.
But we were so comfortable. We just thought, okay, this is our life. He's just going to be going into hospital. We never thought that it would end like that. Yeah, you see. So talk about it. Talk about the eventualities. Be open with each other. Even about if his mother is not okay, I think tell him. I didn't do that. So
were you scared of losing out on your man?
No, I think that's just the person I am. I pacify. I'm a pacifier. I always try and make peace with people who don't even deserve it. That's me. But like with hindsight, the benefit of hindsight, you'll be thinking, but why did I even do this? You know? Yeah, like in trying to keep the peace, I didn't know what I was working with.
Wow. All right, bandaseke ngoku siyaqalisa abantu basingene kola ndawo apho sithathe nje umuntu ozocala uba mhlawumbi naye ka reflect asinikeze what we call the mirror moments with Z, because ininzi into esherwayo apha. Ngamanye amaxesha siyadinga nje ukuba sikhe sifumane amazwi okukhuthaza okanye mhlawumbi nathi khe sizibukele siba siqhube kanjani na ngobomi xa sekunje. Mirror moments with Z, come on.
Today, I really would like to talk to us about resilience. The life is a struggle daily. We are faced with different things that we have to be fighting our way through them and growing through the concrete. And from what I've learned from Angie's life is from a young age, she had to learn to fight, having to live with a disease, and again, meeting the love of her life, who is also fighting his own disease, and having to deal with the family that this life gave her through her husband. But what I learned a lot from her and what I see from her eyes is that resilience and the ability to just keep reinventing herself and keep fighting. If you can imagine that you are getting a dream job, but just to get a visa for that dream job, you have to cross borders, more than one border to get that. That is what we are. That is who we are as people when we do not give up on our dreams. But what I would like for us to learn, you and me, in her story, is growing and being a better person sometimes means you have to let go of the poison that those difficulties that you meet in life can leave in your life. You find people that treat you bad, you find people that do not understand who you are, and you find yourself with sicknesses that you don't even understand how you get them, why do you have to fight with these things, and that can leave a poison in your life, can leave a poison that as you continue to live in life, if you carry that poison with you, if you do not learn to forgive other people, if you do not learn to forgive yourself, then you find that the bigger things and the bigger dreams that this life can still give you find them being held back because you are busy carrying a poison. Guys, unforgiveness sometimes is the poison that you drink hoping that your enemies will die, but it doesn't happen like that. Once you drink that poison, it kills you daily. So let's just like Angie, learn to let go and reinvent ourselves. Go get what this life we know is best and is still waiting for us regardless of our circumstances.
That was Mirror Moments with Z, and catch her on the next episode of the Lively Chats with Thembernator. You can also check her out on Facebook and just get a feel of who she is and what she's about. There's a lot that you can actually get to learn from this. And back to you.
Yeah.
It's such a lovely chat. It was so nice to be with you.
It was great. Like, it's nice to offload.
Yeah. Where can people follow you if they want to get to know you, and what can we expect from you?
Okay. Angie is just like, I'm a clown on Facebook. On social media, I'm a clown. Like, I'm a hoot. Like, I say the things that you want to say, but you can't. I say that stuff.
I think we all do. It's called individual. What do you call it in sociology?
Individuality,
yes.
But I'm an open book. So on Facebook, you'll find me as Angie Hofah. Okay. And on Instagram, you'll find me as angel.bliss.
Okay.
Yes. Twitter, I don't even know my handle. Because I don't like the whole word limit. Like I talk a lot, so Twitter
We're living in
limits me.
uncertain times, but
Yeah, I wanna talk.
What's your next move?
Okay, I'm gonna go back to work for a bit, but obviously I had given myself a time frame that I'm going to still work for the gallery for like 3 years while saving up to start a business of my own. I want a non-profit that will benefit girls, young women, and then I also want probably my wedding planning business, a bigger one, like with the venue and all that.
I can actually see.
And maybe entertainment.
You may never know.
You never know. You never know.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate it.
Thembernator.
All right. Now where you can actually carry this conversation, or maybe you can take it further by joining us on our social media pages. All the details are right on your screen right now. Thank you so much. Till the next episode. God bless.